gets here, just count the dough. Let me do the talking.
You got it, boss.
You're early.
Who the hell are these guys?
You boys lost?
I'm Ascension Chronicom from the planet Chronica 2.
Good for you. Now beat it, before we make you freaks regret being born.
Chronicoms are not born.
Warning you. Last chance, pal. Take 'em, boys! What do you want?
Your face.
Hey guys, and welcome back. So I wake up this morning to this tweet from Marvel Entertainment presenting us with the trailer for Season 7 of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Pretty exciting stuff, by the way, but then I go, shit. It's Saturday morning, it's the usual timing that I do my reviews for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know, when episodes are airing. The episodes themselves usually air a night before, and that's exactly what happened with this trailer. It aired the night before. And right now I'm doing the same thing that I used to do every week for 13 weeks this season, all the way up until the 2nd of August. But the thing is though, this trailer is really brilliant because I wake up, I look at that tweet and I'm thinking, okay, I've got a trailer to break down. But then I watch the trailer and I realize, okay, I'm not going to be breaking down this thing, but instead I'm going to be pretty much speculating on it. Because the major part of this 1 minute plus trailer is more of a sneak peek, and that very sneak peek requires a lot of speculation. So let us get started. Time travel was confirmed at the end of Season 6, was confirmed for Team S.H.I.E.L.D., but it was not confirmed for Chronicoms. It is possible that these Chronicoms that we see at the beginning of this trailer have basically time traveled, but it is possible as well that this one Chronicom is introducing himself as being from Chronica 2, because he is from this time period. Like, along with this team of Chronicom hunters have pretty much figured out that Team S.H.I.E.L.D. have traveled back in time, and they're basically thinking from their own perspective, okay, this team is back in time, they're trying to mess with the timeline, we gotta stop them, especially that there's a Chronicom working with them. I think that Enoch is pretty old as well, so they most probably know who Enoch is. So yeah, that's the first option. They are basically from this time period. But here though is the other option. They did travel back in time as well. The Chronicoms did send a team back in time, and it is possible. Gotta talk about why in a moment. Now the first thing to think about over here is the chicken first or the egg. So did Team S.H.I.E.L.D. first travel back in time, and then the Chronicoms followed them in order to stop them? Or is it basically that Simmons realizes that they traveled back in time, the Chronicoms, and that's why she picked the rest of the team, traveled back in time, and hence why she created this Chronicom/LMD Coulson, you know, to try and figure out what to do in the past, how to deal with the events in the past, and stop the Chronicoms from changing them, you know, as part of their plan to save Chronica 2. So the question over here is really about who's trying to change things, who went back in time first, and who's pretty much chasing whom. So we've got three options. Each option will have a different way the story is going to play out. If these three Chronicoms that we did see on this trailer are pretty much from the time period, or if they were basically a group that traveled back in time following Team S.H.I.E.L.D., then they're probably trying to stop Team S.H.I.E.L.D. That means that the time heist option, you know, the one similar to Endgame, the parallel to Endgame, is pretty much gonna be it. And if it were the other way around, like Team S.H.I.E.L.D. are following the Chronicoms trying to stop them from changing time, then that option is out of the window. And that would also explain why Fitz stayed in the future, like he's pretty much trying to fight the Chronicoms off Earth with whatever team he's got with him. while at the same time Simmons and the rest of Team S.H.I.E.L.D. along with Enoch are traveling back in time to try and protect the timeline, to try to save Earth and to save the timeline from the impact of whatever the Chronicoms plan on doing. But have we got confirmation though that the Chronicoms could time travel? Yes, we do. That was at the end of episode 11 of season 6, and that would pretty much be the entire conversation between Atara and Malachi, all about saving Chronica 2 or creating a base in Chronica 3 in order to have something that supports them while they're pretty much trying to get back Chronica 2. And that second option was Malachi's plan. That's what he did on the finale of season 6 after he killed Atara.
We have learned more than anticipated. We may yet save Chronica 2 from its extinction-level event.
I came to a different conclusion. I recommend reassigning hunters to establish Chronica 3.
With your permission, we can begin preparations.
Request denied. If we can reclaim Chronica 2, conquest is unnecessary.
And with that out of the way though, we've got confirmation at the very beginning of this trailer. 1931. That confirms the time period. That confirms our speculation on the time period. I was thinking 1930 to 1931. A lot of fans on the comments to a lot of my videos have been confirming it's 1931, and it is 1931 indeed. Now, I do love that 1930s feel to the entire scene. It's a lot more serious than what we see on Legends of Tomorrow, because I know a lot of people have been going for this comparison. I mean, Legends of Tomorrow is quite funny, but at the same time, when you kind of think about it, Legends of Tomorrow is the silly kind of funny. When Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does comedy, it does it in a different manner. So it's not going to be that kind of silly. It's just totally different, in my opinion. Another thing about that scene is we see these 3 corrupt cops. We see the Chronicom trying to take the face of one of them. The technology they're using kind of makes me think of the nanomasks season 2, Agent 33, Hydra, and all of that stuff. The photostatic veil. And it is really kind of funny because we do see a little bit of a hint that we're getting Hydra on the upcoming season. Very good, by the way. I know a lot of people used to complain we don't have to see Hydra on every season. We didn't see them on season 6. But when you think about it, this is where it all started, and this is where it all ends. I mean, we gotta see a little bit of Hydra. Makes a lot of sense considering the time period as well. Now, I do think that the Chronicoms are probably gonna start working with Hydra, or they're gonna end up impersonating Hydra agents at least. Would be kind of interesting as well to see Hydra become stronger because the Chronicoms ended up in this scenario being part and members of the organization, and for some reason the fact that we did see the Hydra logo on this trailer kind of makes me think we're gonna see Hydra characters that we haven't seen in a while, which is pretty exciting, by the way. I mean, I know a lot of people would be like, why bring back someone like, say, Ward, for example? But that would be interesting. It would be interesting as well to see someone like Malik, like in his early days. That would be fun to watch. They're definitely going to use a different actor, like for the younger years. And stuff like that is going to make for fun surprises, like, hey, that's Malik. But let us though theorize a little bit more. Let us circle back to one of the 3 scenarios that I mentioned early on in this video. The scenario that the Chronicoms did time travel first, and that Simmons and Team S.H.I.E.L.D. followed them into the past in order to stop whatever they want to do. Now, traveling to 1931, that wouldn't really constitute saving Chronica 2. You gotta do that back in 2019 or maybe 2018, but not in 1931. That means that the possibility over there is all about doing something different, possibly destroying S.H.I.E.L.D., but then again, S.H.I.E.L.D. was not there in 1931, so it's probably about eliminating S.H.I.E.L.D. before it even exists, or at least changing the history of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think Peggy Carter comes to mind, getting rid of Peggy Carter. Because you take away the first director of S.H.I.E.L.D., you don't necessarily eliminate S.H.I.E.L.D., but you possibly eliminate the current future of S.H.I.E.L.D., the strength of S.H.I.E.L.D. as it is. Now that would also explain why Fury's Toolbox was so important to Malachi, was so important to the Chronicoms. They want to figure out how S.H.I.E.L.D. started, they want to figure out what to do in order to stop S.H.I.E.L.D. from being, and that's what they're doing exactly. Now I suppose if this were to be the case, they've got a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, and they've all got to do with traveling to different points in time. Traveling from one point to another, they're going to try different things. If this one fails, if they stop you, go for that one. And that's exactly what they're going to be doing over here. Now, I suppose as well that Team S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to return to the future, to present day, and they're going to pick Fitz up along the way. And that's possibly part of what Fitz is doing in the future, like he's figuring out their next move, and he's giving Simmons and the rest of the team the exact point in time they need to travel to, the exact coordinates as well that they need to go to. That's what he did at the end of Season 6. But that being said, there's not really much with the rest of this trailer to talk about. There's Enoch running towards this thing that kind of disappears right before his eyes. I think that's all about the Chronicoms, that's all about the chase, that's all about them traveling back and forth in time. There's that moment out of the very final scene of the Season 6 finale with Coulson opening his eyes, LMD/Chronicom Coulson, so that's pretty much a repeat there. There's Daisy looking at him, kind of liking what she's seeing. Hey, we got Coulson back. Now, whoever it is that's being shot there, on the following scene on this trailer, that's probably part of the Chronicom plan. Like, this is possibly one of the people that they need to kill in order to stop the inception of S.H.I.E.L.D. or the future inception of S.H.I.E.L.D. Makes me think of the fact that FDR is part of next season, so they might think the changing of the history of an entire nation would change the history of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they might decide to shoot him before he becomes president, and that way they would change everything, pretty much everything. And finally, there's the rocket launch pad next to the lighthouse that the Chronicoms are possibly using in the future, or that might have always been there all the way through time, back in time, and that's where the Chronicoms are probably gonna come and play, cause some mayhem, cause some trouble in the past, and change the timeline. Now, anything else is not really explainable at this moment, but it's all got to do with time travel, it's all got to do with the past, and it's all got to do with the Chronicom plan, and that would include that Hydra logo at the very end. And let's not forget that Hydra does exist in 1931, because while we know S.H.I.E.L.D. started with Agent Carter, Peggy Carter, we know as well that Hydra is pretty ancient. But there's this one other thing about this trailer. It's not about any scene on the trailer, but rather about the ending of the trailer. Like, this is coming in summer 2020. Now, I did hear that the attendees of D23 did watch the very first episode of the upcoming season, which is most definitely weird because you've got like 9 months before you get there, before you get to the premiere of the season. So you're pretty much allowing for spoilers out of the premiere of the 13-episode season to come out so easily over the next 9 months. That's a lot of time. I'm thinking over here, and that's just me, when you offer a trailer this early for a season, for a returning series and not for a brand new series, when you offer a trailer this early, and when you offer the attendees of some event the premiere of the season this early, then you probably have got a plan to maybe air it before that. I mean, summer 2020 is definitely the plan. It is the plan if all else fails, but there is a good chance that they might decide, okay, you know what, we're gonna move it up a few weeks, we're gonna move it up a few months, and then bring it all the way up until the beginning of the year, beginning of 2020, or sometime in March of 2020. Now, all of this is going to depend on scheduling, all of this is going to depend on how new series perform on ABC, because if a new series doesn't perform so well, and to be more specific, if a Friday time slot does not perform so well, then as per the usual with a lot of TV series, primetime television, they might decide, okay, you know what, we're going to remove this one and replace it with something that's guaranteed to draw a certain level of viewership, and that might end up being Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But that having been said though, my work here is done, so let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this trailer. Let me know how excited you are for the final season of the series. Time travel is not going to be as bad, it's not going to be the plot device that you thought it was, it's going to be a chase through times, and let's in the process not compare it to Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, it's a funny comparison, but nonetheless, totally different. But in all cases though, you can let me know as well if you did like this video by dropping it a much appreciated like, subscribing to this channel, and make sure while you're at it to enable notifications in order to get updates whenever I upload a new video, publish a new community post, or start a new live stream. But until the next time that you tune in for another one of my videos, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or otherwise, thank you so much for tuning into this video, and have a great day.